More products is what we need. More product. Motherfucking JetBlue owe me money. These niggas better pay me. Everybody is watching. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. What's my Twitter handle? Hold on. It is. It says KB the Don, aka the Fisherman. But my Twitter handle is True Nation ENTE. Damn, I need to clean my ears. But let's get it out. Let's get started on this motherfucking topic, man. I wish, you know what I should have did? I need to set up my streaming. Only thing, I don't like streaming on YouTube because I be having some wild shit on my laptop, and I just don't want everybody to see that. So for that reason, I'm not really too big on the streaming. Hold on, let me text my mod. Yeah, I know, man. I'm gonna try to get that down. Try to get that down packed for you. My thing is, I don't know what would be a good streaming schedule. Like, when are most people free? That's what I need. I need to take a look at my analytics. Oh hell no! What the hell? Yeah, we are. Still on track for 200 episodes. About to get into it. About to get into it. I need to make it smaller. Hold on. I just want to adjust something. By the way, guys, I'm streaming on TikTok also. And you guys can see me on there too. I need to adjust. This is good. This is be a good topic because, and this is the problem. Everybody, like, you obviously, like, society is not religious, and that's fine. But then, like, people usually keep traditional morals. Like, letting someone sleep with your wife is nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts. So most people aren't going to let somebody sleep with their wife, but nowadays, if you oppose it, you're considered to be misogynistic, or you're a bigot. If you don't want to let people sleep with your wife, this is why when they talk that nonsense, don't even pay it no mind. Be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a bigot. And what? So what? Whatever. Yeah, okay, and because when you give in to people and their whims and you try to just please people and you come with your own ideology, which is like flawed, and then you start to do crazy things. And it's like, why even get married? Why even get married? And I got a question, and this is my question. Is this something like, is this something that white folks only do? What is this all about? What is this all about? Why are people doing this? Why is this happening? I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't. I just don't get it. But we're about to get into this podcast in a second. I just want to change my background right quick because this shit is nuts. It's appalling. But I think the way today's society is set up, I think that most people might think this is okay. And somebody has to speak up against this. Somebody has to say something. And it might just have to be me. Let's see. Here we go. That's a lot better. Hell no. I'm a straight woman. Hell no. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So let's get into it. Now, I'm saying, is it a white thing? Because I'm not even trying to be racist. It's just a serious question. Because I don't really. I'm not saying that you don't have other ethnicities who do it, but when I look into these cases, it's usually you look at fucking Adam 22, and it's like it's nuts. And actually, all right, I'm gonna say it in the podcast because this actually happened to me before. Somebody's actually asked me to, to smash their wife in front of them. Crazy situation. Well, let me write that in my notes because I'm gonna put that on. Real shit, real shit, real shit. My own story. Put that in the notes. Of smashing someone's wife. I got the craziest offer, but I'm gonna talk about it in a second. I totally forgot about that for a second. This will be great for the podcast, but it's nuts. I don't know. And that was a white couple too. There was a white couple too that asked me to do that. I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just trying to understand because these guys are letting it happen, and these guys, people are following them. Nuts, absolutely nuts, nuts. I don't even understand how you could even really love somebody doing some crazy liber- typical liberal white male. Like that's what I'm saying. They take it too far. It's like, yeah, I'll let people smash my wife. Her body, her rights. She can do what she wants. I do what I want. So, it's only no, bro. Traditional morals. Don't let people sleep with your wife. And what's crazy is Adam 22 just got married and had a kid not too long ago. But there's a lot more to that story than what's being told. There has to be. There 1,000% has to be because that shit don't make no sense. No sense. Absolutely no shit. That shit is ridiculous. But whatever. I'm gonna just get it. Let's get into the podcast because there's a lot I want to talk about because this shit is like it's nuts. I don't. And my thing is, I don't know. And I was trying to say like, is this like a white thing? And I'm not being racist. I'm not doing it. This is a genuine question because I haven't seen any of my friends do it. I don't. I don't know. I know there's swingers, right? Yeah, maybe there's swingers and stuff like that. Shit is nuts. Because I could understand if they kept that narrative, but that's not something we even saw. But he's not a swinger. That's not even the case because they would they would share, he would share, she would share him with other women. You could go on any website and see them, right? It's always him and mad threesomes with other women, but bro, and she was so happy. Look how happy she is. Bro, she looked more happy here than the pictures than I seen for their wedding. And they just got married. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, he's basically pimping his wife. Listen, I'm gonna get into we gonna get into it. We about to get into it, man, because this shit is what the hell? Hey man, that's what I do. Blessings, blessings. I was just thinking about that too, the extra pair of shades that I had sent out. Absolutely nuts. Guys, the point of this podcast, I want to let you guys know this is not okay. Because you got to think about the next generation, right? We got generations that we got people thinking that they can be a man and the man can be a woman, and then these young kids are brought up doing this. Now you're gonna think that this is okay. This is not okay. It's not, and I don't understand anybody who tries to justify that shit. No, absolutely not. I don't care. It's like, and sometimes I see this guy Destiny, right? He's like on lives and he goes on these people's shows and he sounds very intelligent and articulate. And sometimes he makes pretty decent points. But then it's like, I let people smash my wife. It's like, bro, oh man, like everything just goes out the window. I can't, you can't be credible. I can't listen to anything you say at that point. It's like, how can you comment on relationships, but you're okay if somebody smashed your wife? And then, oh, this is another one. This is a good one. Oh man, I just need to start the podcast because people, and then people say you're insecure. What? I'm insecure. Yo, people will say that. Oh, men are just insecure. Oh, 100%. I'm 1,000% insecure because I don't let people smash my wife. Yeah, people will say that. I was watching one of these podcasts the other day, and he was saying that. This guy Destiny, he was like, yeah, maybe you're just insecure. What? And you know what's even crazier? I just need to get into the podcast. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Like who the hell wants that? And even on the other end, oh, but you're insecure. What? Well, bro, like, but this is why you shouldn't follow these people. You should not follow these people. You should not listen to these people because when you look up to these people and they letting people smash their wives, and next thing you know, well, you're like, oh well, uh, well, I don't know, and I just think it's okay. These are not people you should look up to. 100% no. 100% no. This shit is crazy. I really want to get into this podcast, so we will be. I'll let people come up in a second. He said he's my role model. Absolutely not. There is no more role models. If that's your role model, bro. I think this is podcast number 180. Let's let's get into it. This is gonna be a good one. All right, guys. Podcast number 180. Let's fucking talk about it. So we're gonna skip the music. No introduction. We're just gonna get right into it. So over the weekend, I'm in my group chat, and me and my boys are talking, and they send this Twitter thread, and the Twitter thread is basically Lena. If you don't know who Lena the plug is, she's a social media person, social media star, and she's this guy. Now, if you've been on Cornhub, if you've been on any adult film website, you know who that guy is. By the way, guys, I'm also on YouTube. So, but sometimes on the podcast, it cuts out on the Spotify podcast. So if you want to watch the whole thing, go on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube. Hit the link in the bio. It's KB the Don. Is the name of the channel. But so it's this guy. I forget this guy's name. World-renowned corn star. And the reason I'm saying corn star because we're also on TikTok, and I don't want to get deleted. And she's like, "It's finally happening." Keyword: finally happening. Now, if you don't know who Adam 22 is, Adam 22 is a guy that is, I guess, a big on social media. And mind you, these guys are rich, and he's big on social media. And he has a YouTube channel. He's known for like having really good interviews, and he has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend has OnlyFans. Hold on a second, let me get some chapstick. My lips looking dry as hell. Where's my chapstick? My bad. So he has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend is her, Lena the plug. And she has a OnlyFans. She has an OnlyFans. And the history of their relationship is that you know, they would have a lot of, I guess, threesomes, right? They would, and how their relationship goes, because it's all on the internet. You can go on any adult film website and watch them. So how it normally goes is she, Lena the plug, would share Adam with other women. Like, it's some crazy stuff. And I think she has a podcast, and she would they would interview the girls, and then after they interview the girls, next thing you know, they're just all smashing. Like Adam 22 and his girl and another girl, whoever they interviewed. And these are various people like corn stars, adult film stars, OnlyFans girls, just people with great social media. Now, this is why I tell guys, and this is the problem. And this is the problem. Everybody's always like, "Oh, I don't believe in God. I don't have traditional morals." And that's fine. You can have your own beliefs. But when you go away from traditional morals, this is what happens. Because anything goes. When you let anything happen and anything goes, this is what happens. When you talk about, oh, when you give into that whole nonsense and people are like, "Oh, you're misogynistic, you're this, you're that." And you give into that narrative, it's like, oh, if I don't want a girl that has a lot of bodies, if I say body count matters and I don't pay attention to that, this is what happens. This is what happens, right? It starts off small. It starts off small, and he's like, yeah, well, I don't necessarily want my girl smashing anybody. And he admitted it. I literally watched the interview the other day, actually yesterday, and he said that, oh, well, at first he ran a train on his girl with somebody at first when they first started talking, but then they stopped. They stopped doing it. They stopped doing it, and then it was just girl on girl and him. So then they were just having like girl on girl relationships with him. So they were only having strictly threesomes for a while. Only for a while. And then next to they were together for years. They even just had a kid. They even just had a kid. They just even had a kid. They just had a kid and they just got married. They just got married. So, and he says in the interview, he's like, well, you know, we talked about it for the longest. It's something that came up. It's something that we talked about for a very, very long time. He even said that, oh, if it did happen, how would we go about it, and this and that and the third, and saying if it's okay. My thing is, and this is the real problem, and this is how you know there's a problem in their relationship. This is how you know there's a problem in their relationship. First things first, there is no way in hell that Adam brought that up. There's no way he brought that up because obviously it's not something he wanted. Nobody wants somebody to smash their wife. So that's not something he brought up. You know that's something she brought up. Because why go away from running trains? Why on her OnlyFans she's never smashing dudes? It's just him and other women. And the crazy part is she should care enough to not want her husband to not want her to smash somebody and hurt her husband's feelings. This is a great indicator that she does not care. She's basically asking for permission to cheat. I am not making assumptions. I will pull up the interview right now. This man said it, but wait, he did set boundaries. He did set boundaries. He said, you can smash my wife as long as you don't kiss her. What did he say? As long as you don't kiss her. And let me find it. He did say you can smash my wife as long as you don't kiss her. He said he set boundaries. You can't kiss her, and he can't kiss her, and you can't I think he said come in her. You can't do that. But otherwise it's okay. But otherwise it's okay. Nuts. And this is the problem. And this is why. And this is like this guy's logic, right? The guy Destiny, he says, well, if I'm smashing other women, it's okay if she does it. No, it's never okay, bro. No man will ever be okay with that. No man would ever be okay with that. No. Listen, you got to keep it like this. If you don't want people touching your wife, don't have that type of relationship. But my thing is, this is something she wanted. It has to be. It has to be. Look, I don't know if you guys on YouTube. I want to play it. I don't know if you guys on YouTube can actually hear the audio, but this man talks about it. He talks about it, and he says straight up.
So that you guys all know what's going on, which is basically...
You're quitting on us, bro.
I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. But I'm going to tell you something that might blow your mind.
All right, blow my mind then. It's early enough.
After 7 years with my girl, this is not the breakup conversation. I realize it might have sounded like that right there for a second.
Yeah.
7 years together.
7 years together. Been doing porn pretty much the whole time, but we've gotten more and more deeper into the conversation, or into the porn stuff. And after, many hundreds and hundreds of threesomes and stuff.
Yeah.
We decided, we've been having this conversation for like damn near a year.
Okay.
She shot her first ever scene with another man. Over the weekend.
That shows growth.
Well, but they get on your ass saying that you don't have it in you to disagree with me. So I'm going to use the guy who got roasted on the internet.
I want to find a scene where he's basically saying, he basically set boundaries. He was like, oh no, I'm not going to let my wife make out with somebody. He says, as long as you don't make out with her, as long as you set boundaries. Like, it's nuts.
Much time in this industry, the porn star industry, about you leaving.
But that's part of it too, is that we already know that we're going to probably have like another no jumper.
And this is another thing. I don't understand. Think about the damage that they're doing to their poor children. Think about that. Because I promise you, even as an adult, if somebody tries to get into an argument with me and we going back and forth, I'm going to talk about your parents. I'm going to talk about your mom. And I don't even like talking about moms, but if it gets heated and you try to come at me, yeah, no, your mom, are you seriously talking right now? What about your mom? Your mom. I will pull up the clip. Is this your mom? Is this your mom right here? While she's married? You think about the damage that they're doing to their kids. They're married. They have a child. Let's say it again. They have a child. This is nuts. And mind you, their wedding was like a month ago or something like that. It's like, I don't understand. I don't understand that. How is that okay? Like, what is wrong here? I feel like he's basically pimping his wife. And even when you look at all these other creators online, where like, I remember I was on Twitter and I seen a clip with academics. He's like, oh, I got his permission. He said, you could talk about it. You could give your honest opinion. Just make sure you drop the link. Drop the link? That's a clear indicator that he's just pimping his wife. And a lot of people say that he doesn't care. He has to care. He has to care. Because why marry her? Why have a kid with her? Why have a kid with her? That doesn't make any sense. He even said that he was upset and hurt.
I like the scene in the back.
All right, hold on.
We just got married. We're not.
All right, listen to
With the
this.
Damu, he'll come out and get your haircut. You need a real nifty. So
Well, you guessed it. Over the weekend,
Oh no.
something like that happened.
she filmed her first ever scene with another man.
I know you was mad.
Shit.
You was angry,
I agreed to it, so I was. I say angry might not be the word.
but you was kind of like disappointed a little bit. Like you five like cut, that's your cinch.
You know, I agreed to
hood.
it. She gave me a lot of outs on the way in. Like she
Yeah.
kind of kept telling me, like, if you don't want me to, I won't do it.
You
You
should
know,
have said no.
You should have said no.
I said that I wanted
You
her
already
to do
got
it. I'm
millions
like,
on top of millions of dollars, Adam. You didn't do that shit.
That's another thing. They are rich. They are rich. They already have millions of dollars. Why are you still doing this? At some point, they should have just quit. Why didn't you just quit? Guys, can we run up the likes? We got 700 people in here. Just tap the likes. Come on, run up the likes. But no, this is nuts. You're already a millionaire. They're both millionaires, and they still do 50-50, whatever. I guess at that point, I guess it doesn't matter, but they're both millionaires. Why are you still doing? She shouldn't even have the OnlyFans anymore. They don't even need the OnlyFans. But instead of quitting and just leaving it alone, all right, so let's take it to another level. Now you can smash Mr. Blacked himself. If you know what Blacked is, you know who that guy is. You know who that guy is. But this is the problem, and he even said it. He said after a year of conversation about this, they talked for a year about it. They talked for a year about it. They didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. There has to be something coming from her. And think about this. Why, as a woman, why would you want to be with somebody if you're going to, if you're going to sleep with other men? It's nuts. That's nuts. And I see a lot of people saying that Destiny is a cuck. That's a little different, right? Because they were already in the industry and they had a long conversation about it. And for the longest, Adam said he wasn't with it. Destiny is just like, yeah, I don't care if my wife gets smashed by other men. Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I'm fine. And his weird type of logic is, oh, because, I'm doing my own thing, she can do her own. Why get married? What's the point of the marriage? He says that she's never done it before. I doubt that. Doubt that. Doubt it. Doubt it. That's nuts. And then people look up to this dude. Like, how do you look up to this guy? I would never. Some people just do absolutely anything for money. Anything for money. Anything for money. Like, this reminds me of like those situations where they're like, oh, would you give another man fellatio for $1 billion? I'd die for, what? Man, never. Absolutely never. Absolutely never. Yeah, you couldn't give me no amount of money in the world, not $1 billion out. Because what's the point? They taking those vows to the next level through thick and thin, but that's just stupid. And this is why I tell you guys, don't look up to these people. You gotta have modern, like traditional morals. And this is what happens when you stray away from that certain lifestyle. It's like, all right, well, anything goes. And this is what happens in society. Anything goes. You can, if you want to be a man, you can be a man if you feel like one. If you want to be a woman, you can feel like one. You can't tell your girl what to do. I've had clients, right? I've had clients tell me, oh, my girl said I'm being misogynistic because I won't let her sleep over her guy best friend's house. We got into an argument. Nuts. Anything flies. So when anything goes, this is what happens in society. It's okay. And people be like, oh, well, people are cheating anyway. That's like his logic. Oh, people are cheating anyway, so I'd rather just know and let it happen. What? Nuts. And there's no way
there's no way their relationship is gonna last. Because watch when those clip. If you are on Twitter, guys, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. It's True Nation ENTE. If you know how Twitter works, those clips are gonna be on the internet, and they are gonna bomb him in his comments with those clips. He's gonna have to be on like unalive watch. He's gonna have to be on suicide watch for real. Those clips are gonna be nuts. There's no way he's gonna be able to stay with her forever. Think about it. I speak to men. Men book consultations all the time. Guys get upset because their girl is posting pictures. Guys get upset because somebody looked at their girl. Let alone like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And my question is like, and I'm not trying to be racist, and this is an honest question. This is an honest. Is this a white thing? Is it a white thing? And not because Adam and this cuck and Destiny, but because on 2 different occasions, I've had people come to me and try to pay me to smash their wife on 2 different occasions, all within the same year. And I think after that, I stopped. They all came from the dating apps. I'm not on the dating apps anymore. I think the first guy it was an older couple. They're not older. They were like in their 40s. Offered me $1,200, and then the other couple offered me $1,800. And I was talking about it with my boys. I'm like, bro, should I do this? This is like maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And I'm like, bro, should I do it? Should I do it? But then I started thinking about, obviously it's wrong. Obviously we shouldn't do it. I didn't do it. Wallahi, thumma wallahi, I didn't do it. But then I thought about all the weird situations, because if I did do it, I felt like maybe he would try to touch me, or maybe he would try to like jump in, or I don't know. I felt like maybe he would try to touch my private parts or something. I don't know. And I was just thought about all the weird. Maybe they try to kidnap me and take my organs. So that's why I didn't do it, because I just thought about all the weird situations that I didn't want to happen. Maybe they try to drug me and record me, and next thing you know, I'm on camera doing some next shit. I was just like, nah, I don't want to be put in that weird situation. And like, you ever watch those scenes on those adult film sites where like they got the cut guy and he's like mad close to the guy's beef and watching it? I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm good. So I did get offered to like smash somebody's wife, but I didn't take it. Stuck for the law. This is wrong, but I'm not doing it. And I just thought about all the weird shit that could happen if I did actually do that. So I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. But they were all white. Both of the couples were white. They were white. So I'm thinking like, is this a white thing? I'm just questioning. I want to ask the people. And I'm not racist. I have white friends, I have white clients, I know white people. That's not the thing. I sound like one of those racists, right? You know, the racists be like, I'm not racist, I have black friends. But no, I just want to know, because why is this happening? This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And you know, the big problem is, and this is why you can't give into society when they talk about, oh, you're being misogynistic. If your girl wants to do something, if your girl wants to go out late at night and go to the club, if your girl wants to lay down with other people, if your girl wants to get drunk and go on a girls trip for, like, you remember, I don't know if you guys know who DJ Envy is. He's a DJ, popular DJ out of New York. And I actually like DJ Envy, right? I think he's a cool dude. He's funny, he's cool. I don't agree with all his ideals, but he was telling everybody that his wife went on a trip for like 20 or 30 days, for like almost a month or something like that. That is unacceptable. I don't know about their relationship. They're married. They've been married for a long time. But it's certain things like this that you don't let rock. And then people say, oh, body count doesn't matter. Body count doesn't matter, right? And these are these main people with these talking points, right? But yeah, body count doesn't matter. A woman should just do whatever she wants. Absolutely not. And I'm not saying you can't do it, just as a man, don't choose those women. Don't choose those women. And don't say to each his own, because these are the results. This is what happens. Oh, you're being misogynistic. Body count doesn't matter. No, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because then when you find yourself agreeing to this, then this is what happens. Oh, I was just thinking maybe we should have an open relationship. An open relationship? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I get it. A lot of people saying it's business. But if it's business, at what point do you like what at what point is it real? Why have kids? Why bring a kid into the world if you're gonna subject them to that? Think about when their child goes to school. Think about when their child goes to school and a kid pulls up the clip on their phone. Like, hey, is this your mom? Is this your dad? Oh wow. I think that is your mom and your dad. Wait, isn't your dad white? Are you mixed? Oh no, wait. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. I get it, it's a business, but then it's like you're pimping your wife. And my whole point of the podcast was to say that traditional morals matter. Traditional morals matter. You have so many people who look up to these guys and then then they go off and say, oh well, none of that matters, and then they try to steal their talking points. And then what? And don't get me wrong, like I wouldn't even consider myself like red pill. I'm like somewhere in the middle, but that shit is not cool. That shit is not okay. Absolutely not. It will never be okay. And somebody has to talk about it, because a lot of the times you guys think this stuff is okay. And it's not. Not only is it okay, it's sad and it's nasty. It's 1,000% nasty. 100%. But anyway, let's what I'll do is I'll start bringing people up. If you can share your opinion and tell me what you think about it, because and my thing is, how can you actually be in love? How can you actually be in love if and then not only are you letting men, and they find the biggest black man they could possibly find. They find the biggest black man they could possibly find. This guy's like 6'7" or something like that. He has tons of video with tons of women. Like, this is not okay. And this is why you shouldn't look up to the guy with the blue hair who let people smash his wife. Then he's letting people smash his wife. And then they had a weird podcast where they was like talking about, I'll think about smashing men too. Crazy. And here's another thing. Before I let people up, this is one thing that I want to say. I'm going to let people up to speak in a second. These guys, and when I talk about traditional morals, and this is why traditional morals are so important. I know everybody may not be a God-fearing person. Obviously, I'm a God-fearing person. I don't want to make it super religious because it's not super religious, but when you stray away from that, anything rocks. Anything goes. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the flowers, guys. Anything goes. Anything goes. And the problem is that if you look at Adam 22, there's a whole episode he had on his channel, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube where he's accused of being a Satanist. We know that he's an atheist, the guy Destiny, right? You always see a correlation when these people don't, even if you don't believe in like a religion, even if you don't have a religion, you believe in a higher being, they still have traditional morals. Like I know black people, I know a lot of people in my community who may not be the most religious, but they still have traditional values and morals. And it is a correlation. I know these are only two examples, but you always see a correlation. There's always a correlation with morality and then this left nonsense. Like, you know, if I said I wanted to be a woman today, you have to accept me. If you're not, you're transphobic, homophobic, and you're a bigot. Straight up about it. Even though that's not how you define those words, straight up, you're a bigot. How dare you question me on what I identify as. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right, guys, we're gonna start letting some people up. And I wanna, guys, just make sure you watch your language and don't say any other craziness. Oh yeah, and also, this guy Adam, he's accused of being suffering from a paraphilia that involves prepubescence. In other words, he is a how do you say, a statutory he likes kids. Anyway, that's what he's being accused of. We don't know if that's true. We don't know if that's true. So let's not say that. But all I'm saying is these guys that and I just don't understand. Let's just start letting some people up one at a time. And guys, when you come up, introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and what do you think about the topic?
Hey, my name is Osan. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. What do you have to say on the topic, buddy?
Well, my thoughts on the topic. I'm well aware of Adam 22 and Destiny and what these guys are into.
Right.
It's very, very interesting. I mean, to each his own, I suppose. But my thing is that it's just I can never engage in something like that to the point where I'm allowing my significant other to be intimate on screen with another man. I don't understand for the life of me why men engage in this type of behavior. It's a very beta male behavior. And again, it's to each his own. If that's what they want to do, that's them. I just know for me personally, I can't do it. I can't.
And here's the crazy part is you don't even have to say it's beta male. You can simply have boundaries. Normal people with boundaries, and you don't even have to say the men. There's women that wouldn't want to participate in that. There's women that would say, "Oh no, sorry, I'm not into that. I don't want to share you. I don't want to be shared." Right? I don't want to be shared.
No, I agree with that 100%. Just even removing that is just, you have to have some level of boundaries. Hey, if you want to do what you want to do and be intimate with who you want to be with, that's fine. But you just can't be with me at the same time.
100%.
In a marriage, and now what's worse is that they have children now. So it's like, how do you? And then that's the thing. You're 100% right. There's something that you said that I quickly want to focus on, which is a person's moral compass or barometer. A person's or an individual's belief systems will determine their moral barometer. That's why I strongly believe that there's a correlation between people who engage in this type of behavior, who are in the sex industry, versus whether or not maybe they're a deist or atheist or maybe a Satanist or agnostic or whatever the case is. There always seems to be a correlation, because again, with certain people, they have certain morals and standards as to their code of conduct, and with other people, it's okay, do what they will, live how you want to, you only live once, YOLO. You know what I mean? It's just there definitely is that correlation. I really appreciate you saying that, for sure.
No,
because a lot of people don't really see that.
100%, and that's why it's like subjective. It's everything becomes subjective. It's like, well, is this wrong? That's why we have all these debates in society over certain things. But you always see that correlation because they don't have a reference to what, like a guidebook to say, well, this is wrong and this is right, and anything goes. Like anything goes, and that's the problem. And one of the most interesting conversations that had came up was the story of Robin Hood. Now, this may sound random, but let me elaborate. How Robin Hood, he would steal from the rich and give to the poor, right? But the problem is it still unethical because he's still stealing. He's still a thief. He's still a klepto, right? And it's like, well, is it subjective because he's doing a good thing, but it's still how you're going about it is still wrong. No matter if the people deserve it, no matter if they wouldn't even feel it, it's still wrong. But when you don't have that reference sheet or that reference to guides, anything flows and anything goes. And I think that's the problem. But let's try to get some more people up here, and so they can get them involved in the conversation. Guys, when you come up, introduce your name and where you're from, and then tell me what you think about the topic.
It's just, oh my good Lord, I don't see how they do it. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your name? Where you from?
Yeah, you can just call me Mikey. Don't feel too comfortable giving my location. I'm just saying from the South. That's what I'll give you.
That's perfectly fine. What do you think about the topic?
Yeah, I really don't think it's that big of an issue. Something that you were saying before you brought people on is that, like, why do people look up to these people? I don't know many people look up to Adam 22. I definitely don't, but for other reasons than this one. But with Destiny, right? People who like Destiny, I like Destiny to a certain extent. I like him for his like political takes and his debate style, not of what he does in the bedroom and what is in his personal relationship. That got nothing to do with me. And I have a question for you though. Are you fine with women doing this? Or do you think there should be like no one should participate in this?
Am I fine with women doing what?
Letting their spouse or letting their husband or boyfriend have relations with multiple women.
No, it's cheating. There needs to be some morals. There needs to be some code of ethics. And I don't understand why people think that that's okay, because it's not. But here's the thing. If you had a guideline to it, right? You have certain religions that say, well, you're allowed to have multiple wives. Okay, well, there's still some code and ethics to it, because whereas you look at Adam 22 and Lena the Plug, like he said in his interviews, they'd had hundreds of threesomes, right? Whereas if you look at somebody who has a moral compass and refers to some type of guidelines to their beliefs, they're not just out here arbitrarily just hooking up with people. There's no guidelines. And the problem is when you just do things off a whim, off of your desires, that creates and it opens yourself up to a plethora of issues. And it's just you're almost analogous to animals, because you have no conduct, you have no rules. And the problem is when you do look up to these people and you understand, it's like, and this is my thing. Yeah, he may have political views and he may be able to articulate certain things, but what is his motive? Why does he have blue hair? Where does he come from? What motivates this man to speak on these topics?
So he's able to speak on these topics because he's pretty well informed. If you go watch him and have conversations with these Red Pill people, it's obvious he's well informed. The blue hair thing, who cares? It's his hair. And that's what I'm watching him for. I could care less about who he's in a relationship with, what his dating history is, what his sexual relationship history is. That got nothing to do with me. I'm watching his content because it's about his content, right? His opinions, his beliefs. And also, like, I'm perfectly fine with someone saying they're not comfortable doing this in their personal relationship. I wouldn't do that. That's not comfortable with me. That's perfectly fine. But I find it weird when people get upset when other people decide to do it. If it works for them, it works.
Okay, but look, but you don't see a correlation between their beliefs and their views on certain things. Like, say, for example,
a Christian wouldn't do this. Of course not.
Okay, but that's my point. There's a correlation. If you would sit here and say, well, I'm gonna let people smash my wife, and that's something you're okay with, and you're okay with being married to somebody, and you just live any type of way, then I think that because of that, your political views, there might be a correlation on that. There might be a correlation on a lot of things. And I think a lot of the times when he has some of these conversations, it comes off very disingenuous, and
that's obvious though. Why would a Christian do this? Right? Of course, a Christian who has a particular set of standards and rules, of course I'm not going to do that. It doesn't make it any more valid or less valid than someone who doesn't have those same moral ethics. If someone follows a different religion, they're going to do.
All right, but hold on. You're missing the point. What I'm saying is, like we said before you came up, your beliefs are going to influence your other views and how you view other things in life, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So that's my point. And it's like, here, I'll let you go ahead, say what you had to say.
I'm sorry, just real quick. So my thing is, again, I don't judge anybody for what they do in the bedroom or all those other things. What a person does is their own business. However, here's the bigger point. I believe that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Meaning that if enough people say to themselves, you know what, Adam 22 is living this type of way, Destiny's living this type of way. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get into an open relationship with my significant other. And she can mess with who she wants to, and I can mess with who I want to, whatever the case is. And this happens enough times with enough people. Do you think that there is a net positive within our society, or is there a net negative? I don't think they're inspiring other people to live the same relationship that they are. No, I'm asking, do you think that having, in other words, living in a society where we engage in hookup culture and everyone is doing this, do you think that has a net benefit to society? Or do you think
I don't know if there's a net benefit or net. I think it's neutral because I see the positives of hookup culture and I see the negatives of it as well. Right. So I think it's like a net neutral.
What are some of the positives? What are some of the positives?
I think people are able to figure out what they like and what they don't like before they're able to settle down with a partner, right? It allows you to have a certain freedom that you might not have if you're in a committed relationship. And most people do that when they're younger, right? Before they're well established in their career, right? Before they're ready to settle. When you already have children, yeah, most of the time, open relationships will not work for children. Like they just won't, right? So usually people will do that when they're younger before they're ready to settle down. And I think that might be a positive. Negative is, you might have some attachments that you may not be prepared to handle those attachments that you have with other people. You may not be suited for that type of lifestyle, right? And that's perfectly fine. And that's what I think where the negatives are. So I think it's like a net neutral. If it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah, but what you're not pointing to is the obvious. You said you don't think, but there are people are absolutely 100% being influenced by these people, and you have to understand it's like somebody, and especially if you don't have a background or belief yourself, you can say, "Oh yeah, those are political views," and I can understand. I'm not saying you're wrong by saying, "Okay, well, I agree with certain things. I agree with certain things." Because there's people that, like, for example, there's a guy by the name of Young Pharaoh that I used to like to watch, and he would say a lot of things that I thought were very. He would say a lot of things that I thought were very intelligent, and he said a lot of things that I thought that were very. I thought he was a very smart guy, but then I feel like some things are a little left. But one thing that is solid is, this moral compass, and it's just like when you get to this subjective objective thing of morality, you see like it becomes a problem. And the whole point of it was like this podcast was talking traditional morals, and you have people that are becoming leaders, and essentially they are, because when you have millions of people following you, you have a great influence, you're making millions of dollars, you do have an influence one way or another.
They definitely do have an influence. Do I think they have an influence to convince people to start having open relationships? Definitely not.
You don't. But how can you decide that? There's no way for you to quantify that.
But you couldn't quantify it either. You couldn't give me a percentage of the people who watch Adam 22 or Destiny, the correlation between that and how many of them are now in open relationships. You couldn't give me that number either. It's an assumption. And if anything, with Adam 22, since I've been on Twitter, it seems like majority of his the tweets in response to him on his page on No Jumper, they're all calling him because they're only making fun of him. Those are his fans.
Okay, cool. But this is my point. I never made the assumption. I'm just telling people. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying keep traditional morals, keep traditional values. I'm not assuming that, oh, they're influenced. It's obvious that it can be a possibility. But before we even try to quantify that number, I'm saying that keep traditional morals and values. It's something that I'm speaking up against. Simple.
For yourself. For you.
No, for people in general, because you're destroying society with anything goes. What separates you from the animals if you just do anything? This is why we have rules and laws.
We have rules and laws about how to safeguard people. And a lot of our laws are not prescribing morality on people, right? I think what we choose is whether or not things are going to cause harm to people, or things are if we make laws based on like harm, lack of harm, right? And honestly, this has very little harm in the greater society. If all the things that affect people today that are going to like determine life or death, right? Your livelihood. This is not one of those things.
Okay, so you don't see the harm that can come from just sleeping around with people and sharing your wife. You don't see the harm that can come from that?
To that person, not the general society. It might cause harm to that person. That's possible.
Okay, but that's the point, and that's the point in itself. You have people saying that, and this, and you get into the other debates. Is this anything goes? Anything goes. People can change their gender. People start to separate, gender and sex. They say that it's different. You're causing a lot of problems because the next generation coming up is gonna let anything go, and things that were considered maybe blasphemy 40 years, not even things that were considered blasphemy maybe 10 years ago are okay now.
Yeah, for every action, there's an equal and opposite. I'll say this real quick. I think for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Now, again, I don't judge anybody. I don't hate anyone for how they live their life. I try to look at the bigger picture. Like, for example, people who do OF these days. Look, I understand why people do OF. You know what I mean? People are making a lot of money. I know people who do OF who make thousands of dollars a week. $5,000, $10,000 a week. And to some, that's a net benefit. But then I say, you know what? I wouldn't do it if I were you. But if that's what you like to do and that's the money that you're making, that's on you. But what I would tell you is, if you're comfortable with the content that you make, because again, everything that you make and everything that you put out on the internet, once you hit that send button, you can't put unsend. It's there for life, and people are going to judge you for it. And it might be hard for you dating in the future, but if you choose to do that, that's on you.
Let's let Alexander speak. He's been up here. Alexander, I think it's Alexander Reyes. Just say, I guess that's your name, but you can say where you're from. What would you like people to refer you as? And what you think about the topic?
I'm from Kansas. Yeah, I just grow the passes, and honestly, me personally, I would not let my wife smash another man. But